السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. دعوة يا الملل بأدون كات كجوكتان نقدر سامبا كسر لهذا التيفي عالمي Somali جنرال وبرنامج كني لتقالك قادك وعلى قلب البا وأربعة حل كانوا كلا إنه هو دي نسمونه الجرني برنامج كانوا برنامج لو قد قادك استعماله لقونا بورني إن إسكي ريان أم إسكي بدايين كبي أهم با قلبت برنامج كنا وحنا نقوم مرتئة Chief Inspector Nick Davis oo Metropolitan Police ka socda iyo Superintendent Simon Rose galabta waxaan isku dayaynaa insha Allah inaanu kor istaagno qaadka iyo sharciyada ka soo baxay wadanka Ingiriiska oo la sugayo inay dhaqan galaan mar dhow waxaan isku dayi doonaa insha Allah si aan nimanka marti fog aan uga dhigin inaan barnaamijka English language iyo Soomaaliba isku dayno marka waxaan ka codsanayaa daawadayaasha ku dhaqan UK gudaheeda oo barnaamijka daawanaya telefoonada inay soo diraan oo ay weydiiyaan su'aalaha ay u baahan yihiin daawadayaasha kale oo adduunka intiisa kala ka daawanaya iyagoo aad u mahadsan arintan runtii waa arrin aad u qasaysa aadna looga xiiseynayo wadankan Ingiriiska marka waxaan leeyahay taageerayaasha iyo daawadayaasha kale ducada wada laakiin telefoonada loo daayo qadka Ingiriiska kaliya to come back and to the program gentlemen welcome to the program. Thank you. We are going to discuss the implication process of the Qaad ban, and if I come to you first, Somali people, a lot of people are aware the ban is coming. It might not be coming. People are saying what's Class C, what will be the implication. So, if I come to you first, what is Class C?
It's the way we look at drugs. It's the Class A tends to be the most harmful drugs, and Class C is the sort of the other drugs. What it means is it is against the law, and it will lead you to be liable to arrest should you be caught in possession of it. But it's the way that the government has prescribed this drug.
So, which means the Qaad would be also in Class C if the law passes through.
It will be, yes.
Okay, and Simon, if I come to you and Class C is a drug, obviously people will know, but there are different levels of punishment or procedures in place for the obviously courts or the police to deal with. What is the difference person using 1 kilo of Qaad for personal use and the person who's trying to sell 40 kilos of Qaad, if we say?
Abuka, perhaps it's first important to point out that obviously the ban is not yet in place, and it will only come in place if Parliament approve the government's intention to ban it. Obviously the Home Secretary announced she was going to ban Qaad in the middle of last year. There have been some delays. It has not yet been debated in Parliament. If after it is debated in Parliament, if Parliament ban it, then 28 days later a ban will come in force. I think it's just important to point that out first. In relation to your question, depending on how much you possess, there are different penalties. The Home Secretary has indicated what she wants is an escalating model of enforcement. That means a first time that someone is found in possession of it, they would receive a warning from police. On the second time, they would receive a penalty notice. It would be a £60 fine for possession of it. However, where the really serious, life-changing implications exist is if people bring Qaad into the UK after a ban has been made, or if they are selling Qaad or supplying it to other people. In those circumstances, possession with intent to supply Qaad, supplying Qaad to other people, or importing Qaad into the UK is punishable by up to 14 years imprisonment.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that's quite clear. And yes, and waan wax yar hadaan kaga taabto qaadku wali baan ma aha go'aankii lama gaarin baarlamaanka markuu maro un baa la sugayaa laakiin waxa la sugayaa insha Allah inuu dhaqan galo. If I come back to you, Nick, in terms of locally, what are the Met trying to do and to educate people the ban might be coming?
We've visited a lot of the mafreshis around the borough, and we've taken time to engage with our Somali community, any of the representatives that we know of, and to pass the message that this ban is coming and to prepare yourselves. We've also taken a lot of time to put posters up around the borough and to just, whenever we get the opportunity, to come and speak to people like yourself to pass this message. We've had a sort of a summit where we've brought a number of the Somali community into Brent Council and we've used their premises to debate the issues and to make people aware and to see how we can help them.
Fantastic. People are, I mean, some people might think, or some people say this will be a stick to the police, and where they can go and stop and search people. What are your comments on that?
My officers will carry out stop and search, and they will look for drugs, and they do a lot of that in Brent. And when this gets made illegal, then potentially, if they have what we call reasonable grounds, the officers will search for cat. This is why I'm speaking to you today, and we've been trying to pass the message. We don't want to come into any particular conflict with any Somalis who have cat with them. Now is the opportunity for us to talk about it and for them to understand that it is going to become illegal, and you are going to leave yourselves liable to be stopped and searched and potentially arrested.
waad maqlaysaan in lagu joojiyo oo lagu xiro oo lagu baaro baa sharciga qoranaya haddii lagu dhawaaqo arrintaas oo ay dhaqan gasho. Waxaan kaloo runtii fiirinaynaa inaan fikirkiina iyo su'aalihiina aad soo wacdaan aad weydiisaan qadka telefonkuna waa idin furan yahay. And you know, we will be happy, very much happy to take your calls and ask your questions directly to the officers who have here taken the time to come and speak to. I think that itself is a statement. And Simon, if I come back to you, you mentioned if and when it goes to the parliament, it will take 28 days?
Yeah. The procedure is that after it's debated in Parliament, it would then need to pass through what's called the Privy Council, and that is the mechanism by which a decision of Parliament is transferred into legislation. The standard time frame for that is 28 days. So as and when it's debated in Parliament, if Parliament approve the ban, then 28 days later that's when it would come in force. I think, as Nick mentioned earlier, the work we've been trying to do with the Somali community in Brent and around London and more broadly is to get that message out in advance, because there is help available through the drugs and alcohol teams. There is help available for the Mafreshi owners and people involved in the transportation of cat via the small business advisors to help look about changing their business model so that they can find a good business model after cat, to make the point that life doesn't end when cat finishes, because I think that is quite important. And one of the things that I think you may have seen is the leaflet that Brent Local Authority have produced, which you very kindly helped to translate into Somali. So it's on one side it's in English, and on the other side it's in Somali. And when the officers are going around visiting the Mafreshis, speaking to cat users, they're trying to hand those leaflets out, accepting that Somali is a very oral tradition, but it's with those face-to-face discussions, handing out this leaflet, it's trying to build that awareness so that it doesn't sneak up on people in advance. The last thing we want is, after a ban comes in, someone unwittingly bringing some cat home from Somalia, being found in possession of it, importing it into the UK. That has life-changing implications for them.
waad maqlaysaan dadka marfashilayda iyo dadka gada iyo kuwa darawaliintaaba opportunity ama leeyman laga caawiyo jira drug service ko kala kamid ah oo aad caawimaad ka raadsanaysaan. Runtii booliiskuna waxay isku dayayaan inay dadka u sii digaan oo ay u sheegaan hadhow ma rabna ayay dhaheen qof aan ogeyn oo ka warqabin in banki soo socdo inta lagu qabto inuu xarig galo. Bal dhinaca telefoonada ayaan fiirinayaa qofka ugu horeeya. Hello, assalamu alaykum.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله. waxaan u baahnaa inaan ka qayb galo barnaamijka post Cawaale.
Please, are you calling from UK?
How waxaan ka soo hadlayaa Birmingham.
Can you express your question in English?
Yes, I can speak English.
Go ahead.
And first of all, thank you Cawaale for your effort. Secondly, I want to thank the officers that are sitting with you. And I appreciate that you guys are like putting a lot of effort to stop the guard, and it is putting back our society and our people back. We didn't integrate enough, and I think it's a good move that the government is banning, because there will be a lot of like successful people that weren't going to come out and work and be part of the society, really. And thank you again for the Home Office Secretary, Theresa May. and the officers, and again, you Awale, this is all your work, and we really appreciate, and we will remember this for the rest of our lives.
Thank you very much indeed. I think we were all in together. It was a lot of people who have contributed. But yeah, your appreciation. But next caller, let's see if you have any questions. If you want to ask any questions, implications, throw your questions in English, please. Let me take the next caller. Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Haye English bisku daysa.
Walaalo ma English kama aqaan Somali kugu sheegay adiga farxi doona.
Go ahead.
Okay, walaalo aad iyo aad marka kugu hambalyanay waan ku salaamaya Cawaale Ilaahay garabkaaga jiro. Horta qaadka in laga joojiyo. أنا دورنا إن شاء الله وإله وين واحد كان ولا كسرنا إن إلهي دولة ما أدري أي نجتشو
إن شاء الله أو شيء
ها أو شيء قرار وحنا أو شيء يا وحنا تعالى هدريس إنه نخص أوه الجرا أو نخص عن اللي يرى يبدأ بعدينه بكرسنا اللي يرى واحد لسه يسوي مع ظهر هذا قدر ما واحد لسه يسوي براق استعجل بيرا وشي فارق روح وشي فارق الله الله بقى يا يبعثوا لنا وقول عيسى وقاتك ودراق أصلا.
Okay, I'll translate your message. Thank you very much. aad baa u mahadsan tahay.
waxaan ku dibayaa hooyadaydan ku dibayaa iga xidhin cawaala hooyaday.
Aye.
Hayo. Salaamu calaykum waraxmatullaahi wabarakaatu.
Calaykum asalaam.
waxaan idiin sheegaynaa qaadka horta dadka inta badani way neceb tahay adana waa necebnahay.
Aye.
inta neceb baanu ku jirnaaye firaab ah.
Aye.
carruurtii baa shaqaysan weeyey iskuuladii way tegi waayeen jaamacadihii bay ka tageen guryaha dhexdoodii bay ku baktiyeen.
Aye. raggii dumarka ahaa waa sidaas oo kale waxay ku dhaxaan meesha qaadka lagu cunayay ku dhaxaan. Aye.
nafskay ku dhaxaan oo kama yimaadaan barqada arkaysaa kiyoo saacad diicaya.
waayo hooyo intaas bal isku dayay inta isku jajabiyo inaan turjumo xagee ka soo hadlaysaa hooyo what city
Manchester baan ku hadlaynaa Manchester waxaan nala rabnaa Manchester iyo magaalo kasta in laga banbaxo
insha Allah okay igu salaam Manchester
laga joojiyo qaadka laakiin kiniyaatiga ay ka joojiyo u soo furayaan oo ogol yihiin
insha Allah hooyo waa loo sheegayaa two ladies I encourage them to speak English but they've chosen Somali and the first caller said thank you very much indeed. Thank you, Awala. Thank you, Theresa May. And it's affecting our children. The sooner, the better. The level of divorces, lack of schooling, it's tremendous. And then she passed to another lady, says, no school, no jobs, the divorces are increasing. The sooner we stop, the better it is. But let me just, and I just want to clarify, and I think Simon will do that as well. The police, it's not police's decision to ban the qaad. It was more of a politically or shall I say government initiative to ban qaad. Simon, do you want to comment on that?
Yeah, it is a decision by the Home Secretary. Our role is simply to enforce that ban, but the reason we've been speaking with you, the reason Nick has been doing all this engagement with the Somali community is we do not want to criminalise the Somali community. We do not want to be locking up people for importing cat or supplying cat through an ignorance of the change in the legislation. It will, if and when the ban comes in overnight, 7 to 10 tonnes of cat a day will cease to land at Heathrow. But our concern is, in that short period of time afterwards, if people are unaware, they could unwittingly get themselves in an awful lot of trouble. What I would ask, or what we are asking, is if you have a friend, a partner, a husband who has a cat problem, now is the time to take some help from the local authority drugs and alcohol team, and it's going to be different depending where you are in the country. So what we're suggesting is that anyone who has concerns for a friend or family, speak to your local Safer Neighbourhoods team, the police officer or the PCSO, and they can put you in contact with the provision that will exist in your local area.
Lovely. Waad maqlaysaan runtii arrintaasaan rabaa inaan kor istaago booliisku anagu sharciga dhaqangelintiisa inaan fulino un baan shaqo ku leenahay dowladda go-aanka kan gaartay sababta aan u samaynayno aan TV-ga u imaanayno flyerska u samaynayno community-da u tagayno waxa weeye ma doonayno inaan criminalize garayno ama aan dembi ku qorno Somali community dad aan ogeynba in bahalka dhaqan galay waxaan ku boorinaynaa buu yiri haddii aad garanayso saaxiib ama qaraabo ama odagu ama family qof cuno caawimaad ayaa u diyaara hala hadlaan local community-gooda ama BCSO-ga ama booliska localkooda hala hadlaan drug service baa jira iyaguna sidoo kale dadka oo caawiya marka help badan baa halkaas available ka ah waxaan u gudbiyaa bal qof ku xiga hello assalamu alaykum
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
where are you calling from what's your name and where are you calling from
والله waxaan ka soo hadlayaa Bristol.
Bristol can you speak English
adigu wax yar waan ku hadlo isku day karaa laakiin si fiican uma garanayo.
haye go ahead
Okay. We have got a problem for the cat. You know, I am a mom. I have got a children. You know, my husband, you know, he can't help me, and you know, he has got, I mean, like when he go, I mean, for example, to eat, I mean, a cat, or go when he go, for example, and I mean, like afternoon, he will come back like tomorrow morning. So we just actually we need to stop a cat. I don't speak English as soon as for I mean to speak Somali, but walaal waxaan jeclaan lahaa in laga joojiyo haddiina laga joojin karo
insha Allah walaal pointigaagiina waa la fahmay Englishkana si fiican baad u kala dhigdhigtay insha Allah reerkuna waa dagi waana laga reysan doonaa waana la joojin doonaa qofka ku xiga ayaan u gudbiyaa hello assalamu alaykum
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله.
haye walaal magacaaga where are you calling from
Yeah, I'm calling from London.
London what's your name
My name is Mrs. Hussein.
Hussein welcome what do you want to say
I want to say that you know the Chad we got the big problem about our community. And we like to stop as soon as possible because all our community they are not they destroyed.
The community has been destroyed. Thank you.
Yeah, but I want to tell something. Sorry about that. My English is a broken English.
Well, okay, well, okay, well.
But I want to tell you, I thinking about the child and drugs, black people. I think so. It's a policy. Because why they drug child or drug? Why they selling black people? As a policy, I think so. But our community, we Muslim, we don't worry that something drugs our community.
Thank you very much. We don't want to go into politics. We don't want to into politics and races, obviously. And drugs are the government is trying to control drugs. Actually, people say this conservative government is very harsh on drugs. So there's no anybody who's trying to go on soft of drugs, and it's not religiously or color motivated. I totally disagree with you, but I appreciate your comment and your call. Let me take the next caller. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Do you want to comment on that?
Is it possible just to
go ahead.
respond to a couple of bits there? I think the lady before last made the point about her partner. It sounded like needing some help.
Yeah.
Stopping using cat is not easy. The local authority drugs and alcohol teams very much understand that. They very much understand there are often cultural traditions associated with it, and people have been using it as a legal substance for a long period of time. That is why all the local authority drugs and alcohol teams have specialist provision to help people on their own individual pathways off of cat and back to a normal life. That help exists. Those trained drugs and alcohol counsellors are there, and they are being made aware of the specific needs of the Somali community in relation to this. What I would just say is, when the supply of cat stops, it will stop overnight. If people get help now, if they engage with the treatment services now, they can get that help so that when the supply stops, they don't perhaps move to another illegal substance that has more serious implications for them and their families. The message that I think Nick and I would want to put over is please take up the offers of help now, because otherwise what happens when the flow of cats stops can be very bad for individuals. It can be worse for individuals, worse for the Somali community, and that's not good for the police either.
maqlaysaan baan u maleynayaa dalbada caawimaad runtii jirta anagu ma rabno inta hal mar bahalku istaago in dadkii wax kale ku daataan ama daraago kale ku sii daartaan easy ma aha ama wax fudud ma aha qofku inuu hal mar qaad ka joojiyo waa gabadhii ka soo hadlaysay Bristol iyo gabdhaha kaleba runtii hal isku day in caawimaad baa jirta ee local community. Nick, anything you want to add?
As far as the local community is concerned, it's been quite a unique set of circumstances for us because it's given us the opportunity to make even more friends within the Somali community. We already had quite a lot, but I hope this is a sort of an enduring relationship that will move forward and give us an opportunity to talk about lots of other issues around policing, and this is much the springboard for that. We recognise the impact this is going to have on your community, and it's why it's quite unique in that we're able to help before the problems have started.
Excellent, excellent. And I think community appreciates that police coming forward and trying to put strategies and some sort of support mechanism in place before the ban kicks in. And if I can take the next caller. Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Hello, alaikum salam.
Hi, your name and where you calling from?
Walal waxaan ka soo wacaya Sweden.
Sweden.
Laakiin mawduucaan aan rabaa inaan fikir ku darsado.
Haye soo koob galabta Ingiriiska baan bal soo daa idinkuna.
Walaal aniga waxaan dhihi lahaa maxay ahayd walaalow sidaan ognahay annaga dadka cunaqaadka annagu waxaanu nahay dad muslimiin ah haddaan nahay dadka Soomaalida. Marka dadka qaadka ragga iyagu inta badan waxay ku andacoodaan qaadku wax micna iyo wax naxmiya malaha annagana islaam ahaan islaamku wixii darooga ah oo dhan buu mamnuucay in la cuno marka raggu waxay ku andacoodaan qaadku darooga ma ahan maxay nagu kordhinayaan sababta loo joojiyay maxay tahay oo qaadka lagu arkay oo Ingiriisku go'aanka uga qaatay telefishinka ma nooga sheegi karaan si raggu u maqlaaneen yani sababta loo joojiyay iyagoo islaam inay daraaga cunayaan
aad baad mahadsan tahay. I had one fahmay pointigaago. This young lady is calling from Sweden and says there are men who mainly denies there is no evidence of medical harm, there is no evidence of social harm. I know it's a bit out of your remit, but the question she asked was, what was the base and what evidence was this ban based on? Is it evidence of harm or?
Okay, the government obviously they undertook their research. Certainly in 2011 there was a very broad consultation, certainly in Brent and a number of boroughs, where the views of the Somali community were taken in relation to CAT. There is, we would absolutely accept, a substantial difference of opinion. I think if you were to listen to some of your callers or visit some of the Mafreshis in Brent, you might have a view that CAT does do some harm. Other individuals take a different view. They would say it was used for cultural or religious purposes and it doesn't cause harm. The government did publish its full and detailed rationale via the Home Office website, and the matter was referred via a select committee where Keith Vaz chairs. The select committee asked some questions. The Kenyan growers subsequently attempted to take a judicial review, and the responses of the government to that challenge have all been published on the website. Yeah. It is a decision, a political decision, but an evidence-based decision to ban it, and we, the police, are responsible for the enforcement of it. Yeah. Our point of view is we don't want to criminalise the Somali community, so we want the users to take help before a ban kicks in.
waad maqasho walaalo kolay jaha kaluna la aaday arintan aad leedahay nimanka Soomaalida bal si ay ugu qancaan qaadkii waxay iska leeyihiin dhib male waxaan kugu boorin lahaa inay dhageystaan muxaadarada Sheekh Mustafa Xaaji Ismaaciil, muxaadarada Sheekh Umal, muxaaradooyinka culimada waaweyn oo Soomaaliyeed oo ka hadlay shaqadan dirir ba kamida waxa soo mucaarada ama waxay ka heli karaan Somali Journal website-kooda ama qaadid.com ayay ka daalacaan karaan halkaas la isugu soo aruuriyay qaad wuxuu gala iyo wuxuu gudaba iyadoo cilmi ahaan iyo aqli ahaan la isku dayayo sidoo kale dhinaca kale boqol soon ba muxaadaro ka jeediya ku jirta dhinaca abwaanada abshir bacadle ninka la dhaho Maxamed Ibrahim Hadrawi marka inta hadii wax ku qaado wayaan de hal u leeyaan oranaya wax kale oo lagu day ma qaali bal qofka ku xiga telefoonka fiirinaya assalamu alaykum
assalamu alaykum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh
ha walaal magacaaga meesha ka soo hadlays
walaal Bristol baan ka soo hadlayaa.
Aya Bristol, can you speak English?
may waxaan doonayaa inaan Soomaali ugu sharaxo.
Soo koob dhig waaye soo koob.
Kaayo walaalo waxa weeyaan horta aad iyo aad baan u taageersanahay walaal in waxa la dhahaa bahalka Soomaali laga jaro. Waxa weeyaan walaalo caruurtii iyo aabihii ayaan is arkay. marka waxaan idinku taageerayaa biidnillah ilaahayna hadii la qabto inaad bahalka xalad daba jaro dadka waxaan ahay u footaynaya walaal inay meesha lagu joojiyo biidnillah.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I will put your point across. I very much support the ban. I think it has a huge effect on the families and the children, and the mothers are the most who are suffering as a result of hard use husbands and domestic violence related issues. Do you want to comment on that?
Yeah, well, I'm sorry to hear if there's victims of domestic violence. I mean, we take that very, very seriously, and I would urge you to contact the police. There's a number of other agencies that work with us that can support you and help you through any difficult times with domestic violence. Yeah, we recognise that CAT can be the cause of some of those problems, and we've seen that certainly in Brent. We can point to CAT being the cause of certain domestic violence cases, but it's a matter that the police take very seriously and arrests are made.
ومغلسان إن شاء الله بالكاسنا وصوص عدا وحيالها بربر كقويس كي كعنقات كي أرنتاسنا حتى كورنا ولا جرب ريبورت جري تدوا كوك قبرنا أرنتانا آد ببوليس كسيريس وقاتان إن كعنقات أي سميان رجقات كعنا أو كيساس كلا هرنا صمرين أيو يري والقف كحاجة نوجد بيا. هلا السلام عليكم. Hello.
السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام. Can you speak English?
I'll try to speak English. First of all, I would like to greet you and the two officers. And if just 1 minute, please, I will reduce the voice of the TV. I would like to request the British government to stop CAT. We have a lot of reasons to requesting that case. Somali families are getting separated, all the families, mostly those who eat the cat, and our children who is underage or teenagers, they are eating cat, and which is not good, and their health and everything is going down. And also the people who are eating cat, they go to the underground and they used to get their health is getting bad, and they are dying, and they are getting blood pressure, and most of the Somalian families, mostly they are breaking because of the cat. So we are requesting to the government to stop cat.
Thank you very much. I think you made the point. Just before you go, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from London, and my name is Marian.
Marian, thank you very much. Just quick question. We've got calls from Bristol and Birmingham and Leicester so far. Is there, I mean, you guys done a tremendous amount of work in Brent. I think Brent is leading on this. But is there a similar engagement in places like Birmingham? Are you guys aware of any?
It would be fair to say that obviously we've led the response for the police in London. The model that we've used has been spread out across London. We have shared what we have done with the other forces through the Home Office and through the police officer that leads for drugs nationally, who's a chief constable from Hertfordshire, Mr. Bliss. And we've shared with what we've been doing. So he has helped spread the message about how we've gone about this nationally. And we recognise Bristol, Manchester are big Somali populations. So there's work to be done there that the police will be doing.
Lovely, fantastic. Let me go and take the next caller. Do you want to comment on that? Yeah, go
perhaps to add to what Nick said, what Chief Constable Bliss and the Home Office have done, they're seeking to coordinate all of the activity. They are using a lot of the work that Nick and others have done on Brent as best practice nationally, but they're seeking to replicate that pre-ban engagement model to try and seize the opportunity where the community are asking information and help, so that that help can be provided to get into the people who want the help, either to come off the cat or to look at their business model if they're a refreshie owner or they're involved in the transportation. So the ideas that have been created and started in Brent and London are being shared out with the other Somali hubs within the UK, the Cardiff, the Leicester, other places like that, so that people don't have to, reinvent the wheel. What's been started in London will be shared, and that model is being adapted elsewhere.
waad maqasheen runtii wuuna soo gaarayaa magaalooyinka kalena fikirkii halkan ka bilaabmay London in dadka loo digo ninkuu digay kuma dilin ayay dhahdaa Soomaalidu inta aysan arrintaani baankani bilaaman ayaa la qorsheynayaa fariintan waxay soo gaari ka doontaa gobol walba oo UK kamida bal qof ku xigaan u gudbo hello assalamu alaykum
alaykum salaam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh
walaal please TV ga iska gaabi magacaaga iyo where you calling from
I calling from
Leicester TV ga iska gaabi walaal please
waa gaabi TV ga
go ahead
حوالي واقو سلام كبعد رقص نوان سلامي after that I want to explain for them we have a lot of problem for the family and the parents first. Second one, the God is not healthy. They don't have the kids healthy or the parents, they don't have any health. They get the TB, they get a lot of situation, but we like it to stop if they do it for us. We like it. Please try for us and then we give support for the community for Somali people.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think that point has been replicated. Simon, you want to comment on that?
I think perhaps it's important to flag up that it's specialist services are required for this. A GP may be extremely knowledgeable, but I'm not sure how much of the training, awareness and briefing may have gone direct from the Home Office through the National Health Service to them. Each local authority, each borough, each county will have the equivalent of a drugs and alcohol team who will have been already briefed, have been engaged, and will have some specialist service provision explicitly to help people in these circumstances.
And ومغلسان runtii way jiraan hay'adaas jirta drug and alcohol team la dhaho and kuwa kale each la dhaha jira kuwa kale addiction la dhaha jira way badan yihiin different organization ba jira oo service providers ah oo diyaar u ah inay dadka caawiyaan marka wixii caafimaadka la xiriira wasaaradda caafimaadka dawladdu way u sheegtay macnaha in dad xanuunna ka soo bixi karaan halka ka soo bixi karaan in loo diyaariyo help iyo support in loo diyaariyo arrintaas ayuu ku jawaabay bal qof ku xiga ayuu gudbaya hello assalamu alaykum hello
hello Yahi, can I put some comments? I'm calling from
Switzerland go ahead
yes my name is Hassan Abdurrahman.
Okay Hassan, what do you want to ask?
I want to put some comment in my English. It is not perfect.
Go ahead.
I want to thank you, you an officer. I am expert and I used to chew Mira for the last 15 years. And I stopped some 3-4 years ago. So I have experience. There is no doubt Mira, it is worse. They think it is a drug and it is not good for community, especially at Somali.
Thank you very much.
So I really appreciate if they ban and they stop Mira.
Thank you, Hassan. I think you made your comment clearly, and you have to say you do speak good English. And Nick, do you want to comment on that?
Yeah, well, it's good to hear that Hassan stopped and was able to rebuild his life and move on. And it just shows any other listeners, any other viewers rather, that there is light at the end of the tunnel. The ban comes, and we've actually able to help you, as Simon has explained, for the drugs teams, the drugs and alcohol teams, and the health service. There's help to help people move on with their lives, as well as the businesses, as well as the refreshes. It's for the individuals, and it's not an easy thing to just stop. And they don't need to move on to other drugs or to alcohol. The help is there.
Okay, thank you very much. And let me go and take the next caller, please. Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Your name and where are you calling from, please?
My name is Fatima. I'm calling from London.
Hello, Fatima. Go ahead.
First, I like to appreciate and to thank you, Awale, and the other two people who are responsible to stop the cat. To stop the cat is the very, very important, and is the first thing that most of Somali people are appreciating, because a lot of people are addicted. Although they need a rehabilitation center to be good for that people, but it is very, very good things that when the government announces that they're going to stop the card, on behalf of many people who don't get opportunity to call you, I'm saying thank you.
Thank you very much, Fatima. It's so wonderful, isn't it, to come here and to hear all these positive messages. It makes the process easier.
I think it does, Abuka, but I think, to be honest and fair, we have to acknowledge there is another side to the debate and the argument. Yes, CAT has caused an enormous amount of harm to a large number of people, but as I think you are certainly aware, the Kenyan growers, when they sought to take out a judicial review, the implications to people in the cat industry, if you like, of a ban are substantial. Some people certainly do use cat for cultural, traditional, religious, ceremonial purposes in relation to weddings. And there is some suggestion there is a very different profile to a cat user back home in Somalia to a cat user here. We are very alive to the fact that there is a debate around it, but the offer of help is to everyone within the cat community, those whose living depends on it and those whose lives are being destroyed by it. The offer of help is to both, without prejudice to either.
Absolutely, and well said that. And we're approaching the end of the program. If I take two more callers, and hello, assalamu alaikum. Hello.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Assalamu alaikum.
Go ahead, up to your name and where you calling from.
Ali Jemaba Yorati. Waxaan ka imaadaa Bristol.
Bristol, go ahead. What do you want to ask?
Hadii waxaan ka hadlayaa cat, they need to stop because, like right now, there are problems in like the families, and they like every night they like people come home and like tired and they can barely say hello to their family, and like and they're neglected.
Neglect. How old are you, Abdi?
11.
11. Okay, Abdi, thank you very much for being such a brave and making that comment. And I think your mother's there encouraging you to do so. But I say hello regardless. We're just approaching the end of the program. Your final thoughts and your message, please.
My final thoughts are wherever we've gone within Brent and London, we've met a really positive experience with your community, that they predominantly are behind this. And we recognise with that support that the difficult work around the people who are chronic users of cat, that with that support network around them, I'm sure that we can move forward and help these people.
Just to reiterate that, as the man from Switzerland said, he managed to come off cat. There is life after cat. There is a lot of help now available. Please take up the offer so you can see a long, fruitful and productive life after cat.
aad iyo aad waa runtii waa sidaas ay kusoo gabagabeeyeen haddii aad cuntid oo aad isleedahay la'aantiis dhib baa kugu iman karta hadeer ka faa'iideyso sababaha aan barnaamijkan u sameynayaan booliisku oo ay waraaqaha Soomaaliga ugu qorayaan oo meel walba loogu dhijiyaan waa tii Soomaalidu ku maamaaday mar kale aan ku celinaya ninkuu digay kuma dilin weeye intii lagu hurgufi lahaa adoo dhan inta darbi lagu tiray jawaabka la baar la'aan lagu oran lahaa hadeer iska jooji help iyo support ba available drug service providers baa jira la xiriir local police kaaga la xiriir qof walba oo fariintaana gaartana waxaan leeyahay meel aad joogtaanba baalkaas waa la joojinayaa insha Allah dadka kalena ducada wada brotherska userskana waxaan leeyahay and obviously help iyo support baa idin diyaar marka ka faa'iideysta ila till next time insha Allah inta ayaan kusoo koobin doonaa. Assalaamu calaykum wa rahmatullaahi wa barakaatuh.